I'm going to share with you guys things that I wish I'd known before spending years trying to get to 10K a month as a videographer and filmmaker. Some of my personal opinions on things and give you some ideas on maybe how you can grow to your first 10K month as a videographer. So the first thing you probably want to do is develop a skill that you get paid for. It's how to shoot and direct, kind of one skill, and then how to edit, and then how to actually market and sell your service. For me, I was super into holding the camera, shooting shit. And I didn't even know in the film industry and advertisement world that you could be like a gaffer or a first AC. I didn't know that there were these different departments. But I was like, I want to be able to make stuff when I want. So I picked up a camera. It was a rip-off of a flip camera. It was my first camera. It was like the best thing in the world. And I just started making skate videos. And then because I shot this footage, I then learned how to edit, because I wanted to make YouTube videos to get sponsored as a skater. So if you're just starting out, a beginner 0 to 1 year should really just be focusing on honing in on how to shoot and edit stuff, not VFX. I spent the longest time shooting awesome stuff, and I could make banger videos. Like 2-3 years in, I was like making insane videos, and I was like, why is no one paying me? Like, why is no one knocking at my door? And it's because I knew nothing about the business side. I knew nothing about sales and marketing, nothing about that. And so, yeah, I would recommend, once you know how to make like a decent video, like it looks good, got a bit of a story to it, the colors aren't fucked up all over the place, then it would really be your goal to learn how to sell that as a service or sell that as a solution to someone's problems. And I didn't even know that you could make money from videos, guys. This is me, 2016, just making videos. Number one would really be focus on developing those 3 skills: shooting, editing, getting really good at them so you don't think about what buttons you need to press on set, and then marketing and selling yourself. Marketing and selling yourself looks like making content around the stuff you shoot, networking, how to sell and negotiate on a call, getting leads in. The second thing that I would do would be leverage your current network. I think I spent so much time, and I still do now, admittedly. I have a bunch of people that I've worked with before that I should probably message and just be like, hey, thanks for doing that project with me last year. What's up? But I don't do it. So don't listen to me. No. But like, it's so much more exciting to create new content and try and get new clients in and just try and extend your network. But sometimes the best thing, especially right at the start, when you know nobody but like your inner circle and friends and family, is to ask them, hey, do you know anybody who would need videos for their business or need videos to be shot for their wedding, for their event, for their whatever it is, their holiday? Just shoot stuff. By asking people who are around you, there's already a layer of trust, especially if it's a friend of a friend. It's so much harder and such a huge energy drain to reach out to production companies, to agencies, cold. Like, there's no referral. It's not like you know someone inside. If you do know someone who's working on one of these production companies, then ask them, hey, could you introduce me? That would be super awesome. Do that. But if you are like me, you didn't know anybody, especially when I moved to Berlin 4 years ago, the first thing you want to do is figure out in your inner circle, who do you know who might need your service? And for me, this is how it was built up in Berlin. Like, I've been doing videos for 7 years now. I've made 6 figures for 2 years in a row now. And the thing that led me to go and get my first real gigs in Berlin was my first job. My brother, he knew somebody who needed to turn their in-person course online because COVID was coming. My first big client in Germany came through my girlfriend, whose friend worked at a PR company. There's just this layer of trust that is already happening there. And the reason why most people want to work with you starting out when you have zero network is because the simple fact of they know and like you. But when I was starting out in Bristol like 8 years ago, again, my first sweaty drum and bass event videos came from my brother knew a guy, and that guy needed some videos. So if you're in the position where you're like, where's my next job coming from? You need to be leveraging your current network. You need to be asking them, do you need videos? If so, I'm here. Almost every business is just a transaction between a person and another person. So if that's the case and people connect with people, then it's ultimately your job to create solid connections with people. It doesn't mean asking them straight away, like cold ask, hey, production company, my name's Nico. I've been doing videos for 5 years. Here's my portfolio. Let's work. That shit doesn't work. I've tried it hundreds of times, sent out hundreds of emails. Shit does not work. That's why it's important to, maybe my next point, make free work. The reason why you would want to make free work is, one, to develop your skills, to try something new, to figure out how it's like to work maybe with a 3, 4, 5-man crew, maybe to shoot a niche that you haven't done before, like shoes. And if you go out and just do that by yourself, there's no pressure, no one's breathing down your neck saying, hey, you got to make it look like this. And you can basically have a lot of creative freedom. You can also create this work and then share it as portfolio. Like, you don't need to have worked with a brand to prove that you can make something of high quality, right? So if you're making free work, you're developing your skills, you're building portfolio in the direction you want to go, and then you have something to share with a brand when someone comes around and asks you, hey, have you done any shoe shots before? Or have you done any shoe videos? And then you've got a bunch, right? And so your goal really at the start is to build a broad enough portfolio that you get to try things to see what you like and don't like. From the start, I shot events. That was just the thing that worked for me. People wanted sweaty drum and bass recap videos. So I was living in Bristol. I shot these event videos and then I got referred around. I shot stuff for free. I shot stuff for like 50 euros to start off with, just to build network and just to build portfolio. Even now, 7 years, 8 years later, I take sometimes a large portion of the budget and I put it into equipment that I want to use to get certain shots so that I can go down a creative direction in the future. And there's always weighing up that balance. There's no point where you're going to just have Nike knocking at your door every single project. This is not the reality of how this works. The reality is you'll shoot one creative project, maybe 2 creative projects every quarter that are fulfilling and really nice and really cool. And then the other ones are, okay, they're creative, they're fun, but maybe they're not, as creatively fulfilling, but they're definitely paying the bills. And it's only when you push in that direction with portfolio that you make, that you like, that you start creating the work you actually want to create. Another point would be network like your life depends on it. When you establish and you put a lot of time into a network, you will start to have referrals. Word of mouth will work for you. A lot of my jobs at the start when I was in Berlin was literally because people had COVID and they were like, I literally can't shoot this. Can you step in for me? And so I capitalized off of their weakness. I'm joking. And then I built portfolio from there, and then I got referred from that job to another job. You can establish a large following like myself on social media. This can create an awesome amount of leads and traffic coming to you. But my experience is that the highest paying, easiest clients and the most fulfilling work have come from where I've met them in person and we've established a relationship and we've just connected. There's been a vibe, there's been something that we like about each other. It's quite simple, but I think it takes time, and that's what people aren't willing to kind of endure. And so if that's one thing I could also share to get to the first 10K as a videographer, it would be that you're probably making great videos, but it's more about your network, how you pivot to a more profitable niche, how you open up your network to someone and to the clients who actually have the moolah, and establishing solid relationships with those clients without asking straight away and by providing value first. Something I did when I started in Berlin was I made content to get people to see my work. This wasn't intentional. I was just like really back against the wall, had no money. I was like, how do I get people to see my work like without getting out and seeing people, because COVID is here. I literally can't meet people because of the quarantine shit. And I started to externalize my projects. I used to not share my projects. I was like, okay, well, I need to share my projects for people to see it and to see my work. And then I was like, okay, but like, how do they know I'm actually good at what I do? It's like, well, I have to kind of show the process and position myself as an expert and like why I made these decisions. Maybe they'll connect with me more by seeing me online because they can't see me if I just post my project on Instagram, right? A production company reached out to me and they were like, this video is super funny, dude, like, cool. And I was like, cool, nice. So like production companies are seeing my videos. And then that production company put up a job thing for an editor. I messaged saying, hey, I'm probably not your guy, but it would be cool to get on a call with you. And I got on a call with them, and I wasn't that guy, but we connected on the call. We found each other's company fun, and we thought in a similar way because we were very interested in the business side of video making. Since then, I can say that this production company has brought me in, I think, over 30,000 euros worth of work. Yeah, that came from me making some content, just showing and sharing my work and not asking straight away. I would use the NPP framework, which is network, portfolio, profit. The best way to explain is with an example. So you get a request in, and let's say it's with an awesome agency that you've been wanting to work with for a while. Great. It ticks network, ticks that box. Portfolio. Portfolio is, does this project go in the direction of the portfolio I want to make? So let's say that it's with an awesome agency, but it's like food, and it's like a drinks commercial. I don't particularly care too much about food. I'm trying to build towards cars, fashion, lifestyle, tech, and food is not really a high priority thing for me. So that's okay. I'm gonna see what the third part of this equation is, which is profit. Turns out the agency is gonna pay me a truckload of money for this project. It doesn't have to. It should just pay for your day rate. Typically, when it comes to profit, it should meet your day rate. I would then, in this case, given those circumstances, take this project on. Because this is what happens. Typically, you go and shoot that project. You establish an awesome relationship with the agency. You shoot some food and you're like, meh, that's okay. Not really going to share out my portfolio, but it was okay. And at least I get paid, the final thing, I get paid my day rate. And so having done that project, 3 months down the line, you get another request in from the agency. And they go, hey man, we've got this shoot, not super good pay, but it is with a car, and it's going to be shooting in the Alps, and it's going to have an awesome crew. Again, I would take this job because the network is that it's strengthening your relationship with that agency. It's my second time working with them. Awesome. They're going to probably give me more work like this. Portfolio, I want to shoot cars, which is super awesome, great, but the pay is not going to be great. It's maybe a little under my day rate, but I can take that hit because I got paid well for the previous one. Okay guys, I'm completely tripping. I forgot to mention this in the main video. Don't know why. You have to hit at least 2 of those 3 things in the NPP framework. So it has to be at least network and profit, or network and portfolio, or profit and portfolio. It has to hit at least 2 of those things. If you're in your first year of videography, you should take everything and anything you're given, just to figure out what you like, what you don't like, and what you can earn money with. The reason why this is important, because if you're like me, and you do this because you fucking love making videos, if we just keep taking projects that are creatively fulfilling but never paying us, then we end up having to keep taking shitty jobs, low-paying jobs at some point, because we're just in this downward spiral of needing to take the next job. And the idea is that we have enough money in our bank account each month so that we can say no to these shitty jobs and take on more creatively fulfilling jobs when it makes sense. For me, I had a streak last year of almost every job was just insane, but then it goes. We can't rely on that as freelancers, right? Share your goddamn work. There's a bunch of people who are much, much, much more talented than me, and they just don't share their work. I don't get it, because at the end of the day, somebody out there might just need that video that you think is like, meh, it's okay, you made it and you're like, I'm not so happy with it, but you don't share it. But somebody out there might need that video or need something just like that, and you could earn a lot of money from that. And I get it. A lot of people want to do this because they're creative, they're artists, they're creatively, fulfilled by creating videos, and they don't want to do it just for the money. But I can say that if you want to make this sustainable as a freelancer, and if you want to turn this into a profitable business and something that sustains your life, like I have, it is beneficial to share projects that you aren't 100% happy with, because you might put out a video that you thought was like a 6 out of 10, but someone else in the industry finds it like a 10 out of 10 because they need exactly that for their client. Next one, pivot, don't quit. It's so easy when times are tough to just be like, I'm gonna fucking quit this and get a job. I almost did that. I had my card out. I was sat on my bed during COVID, and I was gonna pay for a course, a UX UI course that would guarantee me a job at the end of the 9 months. And it was gonna cost me $5,500. I didn't have $5,500. I was gonna borrow the money from my dad. But then something stopped me. I don't know what it was. It was a gut instinct. It was like, I don't want to make my life like this. I don't want to give up on my dreams. I want to get paid to make videos and to be creative and to be free in terms of on my schedule, a little bit more autonomy, right? And then I ended up, taking a cafe job, and then like within 3 weeks, I had a request in from BMW. And that was like the biggest confidence boost that I needed to have. The job didn't land, but I was like, where the fuck did that job come from? It's like, I have some car stuff in my portfolio, but it was through a massive agency called Media Monks. I was making at the time music videos and making videos for like broke yoga people, to tell the truth. And I've made videos for people which have taken 2-3 weeks of work, and I've been paid 1,000 euros for them. And I've also made the exact same video, so like a deliverable that's pretty much the same, and been paid 22,000 euros for it. It's just the context, right, in which the video is needed. It's just the value that is being conveyed to the client and the value that is seen from the video. You can have the same skill set and make a video for a broke yoga teacher, or you can take the same skill set and make a video for the yoga brand that actually has the money selling the clothes to the yoga people. And so it's not about quitting and stopping what you're doing if you're in a certain niche. Some niches are dreadful. But most of the time, you just need to target the right person, and you're speaking to the wrong person. So pivot, don't quit. Your network is the thing you need to establish and develop and retarget. Next thing is discipline. It's a bit more generic, but discipline as a freelancer is tough. Discipline is learnt, and it is not inherent. It is not something you are born with. So you can't just rely on inspiration to hit and to work when inspiration comes. This video, for example, that I'm filming right now, I wrote last night, make a YouTube video, post it. I woke up this morning feeling like ass. I have a 4-month-old baby, I'm tired, and I didn't want to do it. But sometimes when you just get started, then 20 minutes in, like now, I'm chilling. I'm loving this. There's oftentimes going to be resistance, especially when you're working on client work. It's going to be like, hey, Nico, we need this turned around in a week. Can't say to Adidas, hey, I'm not feeling inspired. No, you have to learn how to just turn up every day like a job and work through it step by step. And most of the time, when you get started, you start to realize it's not so bad, and that you're not changing electricity cables in Indonesia, and that your job is really fucking chilling if you're sat behind a computer making money from making videos. So that's how I see it. Discipline is the number one thing that has led to me also getting 5, 10, 15 inbound requests each month. It's because I wake up every day and I make content. Do I love doing that every day? Not all the time, but it has led to my growth and led to my network expanding. It led to awesome opportunities that I would never have if I wasn't just disciplined and just decided that I am not living the life I want to live. I want to make sure that I don't have to ever cold email or DM anyone again. This was decided 3 years ago. And I was like, okay, what do I have to do to make that happen? Last few things. Perception is super important because contrary to what I said before, where I said share your work, you still have to be intentional with the work you share. If you don't want to be getting more cement mixing jobs or jobs where you shoot people's shitty apartments, then don't share that stuff and don't glorify it, because you're probably just going to get more of that. I share a lot of my running and sports fitness stuff because I want to go into that direction this year. And as a result of that, I have been requested by people to do more of that stuff. On the back end, I'm shooting a bunch of other stuff. Don't get me wrong. I just shot something for a hotel, club, event thing. Paid fucking great just with an iPhone, but like it is still important to choose what you share. Last two things. Find mentors, people who are further along in the journey than you. This doesn't have to be someone you pay. It can be someone you pay. Oftentimes they're really good if you pay someone, but I don't pay my quote unquote mentors. I just message them and I'm like, dude, like, what would you do here? And they're just more than happy to share their input into things. And this has helped me increase my prices. It's helped expand my subconscious. And by that, I mean most of the stuff that we see in the world and we see it to be true, we can go on to achieve it. For example, I was doing a festival shoot and I was going to charge them 16,000 euros. It was like a 4-day festival shoot, photos, blah, blah, blah. My friend said, oh, what are your deliverables, by the way? And I said, this, and this. And he said, I charged 30,000 for roughly the same deliverables to another brand. And I just went, whoa, fuck. So I'm charging 16,000 and he's charging 30,000. Why do I think my stuff is only worth 16,000? And so I came back to the brand. I hadn't sent off the quote or budget yet. I was like, here's the quote, 25,000 euros. And they took it. I didn't even shoot on that shoot. I went to Barcelona and shot another shoot, and I got other people to shoot it, and I walked away with like 15K at the end of that shoot. Just because I saw someone do something made me realize that I could go and do it myself. And so when you have people who are further along the journey, you start to make decisions that you would make if you were wanting to become that person or wanted to be in that person's situation. Last thing is, it will take much longer than you think to get to your first 10K a month. Maybe it won't. Maybe you have someone in your circle who's making that right now, and you're just like, okay, cool, he does that, that, and that. I just got to do that, that, and that. But at the start, you'll often have this idea that you can just get there in like 3 to 6 months. I hope you do. I hope that me sharing this can get you there in a third of the time it took me to get to my first 10K months. But I think there's this perception out there online that a lot of people are sharing that like getting to your first 10K is like super easy. Just trying to trust that process and know that it's incremental steps every day and not just one project that's going to like blow you into a new direction or blow up your career. It does not work like that. I have right now, plugging it shamelessly, my resource and course for teaching these skills, because I just wish I had it when I was starting out, and just wish I didn't have to fucking struggle for like 4 years being broke ass artist. And there's a certain amount of experience and action that has to be taken to develop those skills to get to those easy 10K a month, where it doesn't really feel like a lot of work to make 10K a month. To scale past 10K a month, for example, I've had months where we do 30K, 35K. You're gonna need to have a team around you, and not full-time hired, just a close network of freelancers that you really trust. Sharing and providing that network to clients is extremely, extremely valuable, and you can profit from having that network and providing that because you're providing them with safety and security. And this is what most clients will pay for. They want to know that the job's going to get done, and they don't want to have their campaign that they're spending like potentially hundreds of thousands of euros on to flop and to not hit. Selling and sharing a team has been for me the way that I've scaled past the 10K months. And ultimately that comes down to working with a bunch of weirdos or friends that you really love and like to spend time around, where you can have this network to support you on your projects. And it is your right, if you are providing that talent, to charge for that network.